Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Clearly Ambiguous. Now, I did make a video on this topic almost a week back, but I thought it was kind of all over the place, did not make sense, and hence I chose not to upload it. And it's been a week hence, it's almost 13 days since this war has started in West Asia, which our TV channels are calling World War III, because pretty much almost half the world and uh, is involved in it, and the entire world's economy is definitely impacted by it. So I think it kind of makes sense. Although yes, I would not go as hyper as they are, because they're probably being more hyper than even the missiles flying in West Asia right now. But what has Donald Trump gone ahead and done? Well, Donald Trump, after his remarkable success in Venezuela, as he likes to call it, uh, decided that along with Israel, they should attack Iran. They had carried out operations earlier as well to disable the nuclear program of the Iranians. And at that point of time, they said that they had achieved success. Now, what are we supposed to believe? Because, see, if they had achieved success and they had made sure or ensured that the Iranians were not going to go nuclear, why again are now they saying that, the Iranians are probably just days away from achieving a nuclear weapon, right? And yes, that is pretty scary, because any nation which possesses nuclear weapons and has a policy of saying that, I will use them first, even in case of conventional war, or even if not conventional, even if my economic interests are hurt, or I am just unhappy with the policies that you have towards me, I'll probably end up using something, end up going nuclear if I have a nuclear weapon. That is very scary, right? Nobody wants an Armageddon. And that's probably the reason why, although Trump might be very unreasonable, there is still a lot of support for his military actions in the Middle East right now. But then again, I think the United States of America seems to miscalculate its military adventures, or probably it's their policy to go ahead and miscalculate them so grossly every time. They got it wrong in Vietnam, they got it wrong in Afghanistan, they got it wrong in Iraq, and they're possibly getting it wrong in Iran as well. That, see, I understand that if you look at the rhetoric right now, right? See, both sides are saying that they are causing a lot of damage. Now, if we discount, say, 50% of what they're saying, say, if Iran says that we hit 10 targets and we say, okay, let's just say they hit 5, they are still hitting 5 targets against the Americans who are saying that, we've got the best air defense in the world. At the same point of time, if Americans are saying that they probably destroyed almost the entire of the defense capability of the Iranians, well, how are these missile attacks still happening, right? So both sides, yes, would like to exaggerate in numbers, and then again, there are casualties on both sides. There is already American warplanes which have been lost, albeit that if Americans lose any equipment or anything happens, it's friendly fire. They've got the best weapons, the best technology that they tout about all the time. And yet again, there is so much friendly fire losses that happen all the time with these Americans. Have you heard French losing anything to friendly fire, or the British, or the Japanese, or the Chinese, even Indians, or for that matter, even Pakistanis? Why do Americans lose so many things to friendly fire? In Afghanistan, that happened, and it's happened in Iraq before, right? So See, I'm not here as a defense expert to talk about it, but then again, I'm here to talk about it because this is happening in the world right now. And it is not pretty far, it is right next door. There is a lot of Indians who work in these countries, right? There are a lot of Indian sailors on the ships that are stuck in the in the Persian Gulf region, and the ships are stuck in Strait of Hormuz at this point of time. Yes, we might have strategic oil reserves and everything, but is it Donald Trump's policy? See, everybody is saying this, that, strategic reserves. Um, there is a lot that has been released by the French. The Americans are doing it so that they can bring down the oil prices. But is it American policy right now to make sure that everybody essentially exhausts their strategic oil reserves so that the Americans can later on sell oil at their terms and conditions? How is that going to happen? Russians are supplying. Russians are now saying that they'll supply to Asia first. And the Europeans should thank that it's not the winters right now. Because if it was the winters, and with this conflict continuing, where are they going to get their gas for their heating and fuel for whatever? Because Russians definitely do not want to supply it to the Europeans. And at the same point of time, Mr. Zelenskyy, right, is blackmailing. Right? There was Slovaks whose oil he was holding to ransom. So the thing is right now that European countries can go buy Russian energy in Belarus, and then there has to be a safe passage across Ukraine, because now it is the Slovaks who own that energy, or it's oil and gas, or it's the Romanians who own it, and they needed to run their countries. But there have been reports that Ukraine is not allowing safe passage. Why? Because Ukraine suddenly feels that, you're not doing enough for me to go up against Putin. And he has jumped. And yes, the Patriots, the Green Arrows and everything, all these lovely, what do you call them? Missiles, air defense missiles that the Americans use are getting depleted. They now probably need a cheaper solution. And Ukrainian president has jumped in and says, you know what? I have had some remarkable success against these Iranian Shahid drones, and I'll probably help you with it. He sees an opportunity in this. See, everybody sees an opportunity in war, and that's the reason why probably Donald Trump jumped into this thing head first without realizing that it is an absolute bloodbath in the global financial markets. It's all red. And if you don't believe me, just go online and just check what is happening to the markets everywhere. Everything is in red. There is wealth right now getting destroyed. So basically, you own a lot of stocks and stuff, but you just can't trade them anymore, and the markets are down. So essentially, this wealth is basically getting destroyed. Is that what Donald Trump's purpose is? That let's destroy some wealth, let's destroy some oil, so that now we can... Because, see, I think, even if Americans are doing this for all the right purposes, even if Donald Trump is doing it for all the right purposes, because it's Americans who have to save us against aliens, radical terrorists, nuclear weapon attacks, dictators, anything. It's the Americans who have to bring justice to the world. They're doing a miserable job of it. And the Russians and Chinese are saying that yes, there should be... And doesn't this give Putin all the more reason to hit Ukraine harder? Why would Russia want to stop? And that was a war that Donald Trump promised that he will end in 24 hours. What has happened to that? It's because it's the other way around. You know what? President Trump is speaking to President Putin, and Putin saying that, you know what, I'll try and negotiate peace in West Asia. What do you think he's going to say to Donald Trump? He's going to say very simple. You know what? I'll talk to probably Iran to stop this, right? And not hurt you as much. But you have to basically rein in this Ukrainian puppy that you have. And that'll be a good idea. And I think the Americans should get this wake-up call that no matter how unipolar they think world is still multipolar. And there is a large chunk of this world which goes merrily on. No thanks to Americans. And do Americans have the appetite for more body bags? So anyways, I don't know. And you know, this is giving an opportunity, the more that you probably hit them back to Stone Age. Because, see, the Iranians definitely, why do I want to call them Iranians like the Americans do? Iran. The Iranians probably are not scared of anything because, you know, they've had economic sanctions since last 30, 40, 50 years. So they're not scared. But they might not be one of the leading economies in the world, but they are not a dead economy as well. Right? Even with everything. Look at North Korea. Essentially, that guy has, like, his father had, you know, created famines and what not, but North Korea still exists. And militarily, it's pretty capable right now. And he says that he does not mind supplying warheads and everything. And what is going to happen if, you know, a fanatic dictator supplies his warheads to a desperate Iran right now, who would probably not mind using anything at their disposal because they don't mind saying, you know, we'll go down, but we'll take you along. See, I would like to believe the Americans that, you know, the Iranians might have, the Iranians might have not caused as much damage to US as Abraham Lincoln, right? But you've had to move that ship, haven't you? Out of harm's way, right? You have had to move it. That's a fact. And the Middle Eastern countries, which have basically tried to project that they are probably the epitome of, development and, you know, coming out of oil dependence and thriving tourism economies and, you know, the life is better than even the West. Imagine what is happening to their image right now. Do you think Dubai wants this or Saudi Arabia wants this? They really do not. There are reports right now, right, that the Americans are probably moving their air defense systems from countries like South Korea or so that they can bolster and strengthen the air defenses in West Asia. So essentially, what are you doing? You are exposing another ally to probably a threat now because you just can't take care of this here, right here and now. You know, Iran right now is basically in a David versus Goliath situation. And they are going to milk it. And what was probably Donald Trump thinking? What was he thinking that, I'll just blow up all the Middle Eastern oil one fine day and get the entire world into an energy crisis because I've just found oil in Venezuela, right? It'll take time to get it out of the ground, refine it, and supply it to the world. It's not going to happen instantly. It's not going to at least happen before you go for the midterm elections, right? So, yeah. Because that's what he's probably thinking, that, don't worry, I will get it out of Venezuela. You can. Why would somebody, like, just take for instance, probably even for a country like India or China, which is pretty capable of transporting oil and energy and gas and everything all the way from Venezuela to our shores, why would we want to go that far when we can just go to Middle East and, why do you want to go to the petrol pump on the highway when you can probably go to the one next door to fill your car, right? That's how simple, that's as simple as it can be. So he's basically destroying this and so that he can probably sell Venezuelan oil to us. And imagine what is happening to smaller countries. Like, what happens to our neighbors who essentially do not own huge tankers and probably buy it directly from Middle East and transport. And at this point of time, especially after Afghanistan, the Americans have not done anything to take the world into confidence, where, even people who are probably fence sitters when it comes to saying whether America is good or bad, at least you could take them into confidence and probably then push on this conflict. You've not even done that. You've just done this. And, even the most supportive people who would like to support President Trump right now are probably saying, this does not make sense. And Iranians have been saying constantly that we have not even started using the best that we have. They might be exaggerating, but do we really want to see it? And they are getting more and more hardline on both sides. There is no off-ramp. There is nobody even talking about. Actually, President Trump was talking about it. But the new Ayatollah of Iran right now, he comes in and says, you know what, let's fire some more missiles. It does not matter if I cannot reach the American coast, I will hit everybody who is around me. So anyways, I hope some sense prevails. And as you can see, it's still all over the place. So I'm just trying to make sense out of it all. Trying to bring some clarity to all the ambiguity that has been caused by this entire thing. Because, see, I understand that either side would like us to believe that, like, okay, Iran would like us to believe, the Americans are the worst. The Americans would like us to believe Iran is the worst. But what is worst at this point of time is this conflict. And nobody seems to care whether it stops or not, because at least the leaders don't think like that. And it seems like every leader everywhere seems to think that, we guys, people like you and me, or watching this on TV and trying to make sense that, what do we do right now? Are we again going into a crisis situation, which is probably going to be even more worse than the COVID lockdown, when it comes to getting essential supplies and so on and so forth? Who knows? Because the world leaders think that, it's okay. If you got them, just fire them at someone, like, Anyways, so that is how clearly ambiguous this entire situation is. And let's at least keep talking about it and hopefully feel that this will probably come to a peaceful resolution. And I don't think so at this point of time, either side will be able to get full satisfaction out of the resolution, but they will have to, take a few steps down from the high pedestals that they're standing upon right now. So, anyways, that's about it. Um, all I can say is thanks for watching. You take care of yourself. Until next time, good night.